Thank you, Kimmy. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Good afternoon. Thanks so much for the invitation to come and speak to you today. This was on my calendar, and Kimmy reminded me yesterday, oh, you're speaking tomorrow, and I'm like, I am? Yes. And then this morning I saw my topic was career pathways turning obstacles into opportunity. I'm like, oh, and I got that at about 10:30. So, this is my opportunity to tell you about my journey here. It's been about 250 days so far. I arrived here in Texas on May 31st after the rains had stopped and the sun came out, so that was very promising. Things had cleared up. And so I've been here officially working since June 1st. And I don't want to go too far before I introduce one of my colleagues. She started last Monday, and that is Shani Barracks-Moore, who's our new Director of Diversity and Inclusion. Shani was the Chief Diversity Officer at Tarrant County Community College, and we are delighted to have her here. She has a vast array of experience, and we've already made some neat connections with some colleagues here from the College of Education and the work that they're doing in terms of curricular transformation and diversity, and so we're looking forward to partnering with them. So part of what I've been doing in my 250 or so days is to really try to build my team. I thought it was very important when I came. This job was advertised as the Vice President for Diversity and Inclusion, and I was pretty insistent that the title be Equity and Diversity, because I think to have successful diversity initiatives and programs, they have got to be built on that base of equity and equal opportunity, that access for everyone to be able to come to the table and to compete, whether it's in the classroom or in the laboratory, or to compete fairly for jobs, to be appropriately rewarded for your efforts and your work. So you can't do that unless you understand the bedrock of all that we do is built upon that equity bedrock. For us, that's extremely important. And that's my initial background. As Kimmy mentioned, I spent a number of years at North Carolina State University, where I served as the Vice Provost for Institutional Equity and Diversity. And my first stint there in administration, after coming from the History Department, was with the Office for Equal Opportunity. So that's really my heart. That's the thing I really think is so important. And then our office used to do most of the diversity work on campus. So when we had massive reorganization about 6 years ago, all of those were moved under my purview, and I had a staff of about 40 people or so. So in my 250 days, I've spent a lot of time trying to build my team. So one of the linchpins of that team is Shani, and the other, many of you may have met already, Inya Baye. She has a law degree, and she's a specialist in Title IX, and you'll probably encounter her before the academic year is over. We're waiting on the approval of our new policy on sexual assault, sexual harassment, and retaliation to be approved by the Board of Regents, we hope next Thursday at their meeting. And then you will see us ramp up activities about training, getting that message out across the campus to folks, because one of our obligations is that we have all, quote, responsible employees trained. And as faculty, you're very much in that framework of a responsible employee. Who are students more than likely to talk to should they face some of these issues? And many times faculty are the first persons with whom students will speak if they're having issues. And also, as faculty, as employees, as members of the community, if you're having issues, you will know how you can access the university's complaint resolution system. So I've got kind of this department that, we see the best of what's going on with the diversity work and helping to facilitate recruitment and hiring. And then we roll up our sleeves and help do the kinds of things that we must do as it relates to equal opportunity and equity, making sure that everyone can work and learn in an environment that's free from discrimination and harassment. So if you have any of those issues, we urge that you call us. So for me, it's quite an opportunity, a challenge to come to a place like Texas from North Carolina, particularly when you're the new kid on the block and you're trying to figure out what it is you want to do at an institution like this. But for me, it was also an institution with a lot of promise. That was the thing that attracted me to the University of North Texas. In terms of size, North Carolina State University had almost 35,000 students. So comparable almost to the 37,000 students that we find here, but we didn't have near the diversity of students that we find here at the University of North Texas. Perhaps with this fall's enrollment, we will crest over to what we call MSI, or minority serving status, by having about 50% or greater of our students be from underrepresented groups. Right now, we're at about 49.5%. So with our enrollment, we should top that, I'm thinking, this fall or the next year. I think Shannon and I are predicting this fall. Also, we're very close to HSI status, Hispanic Serving Institution status. We have about 20.6% of our students identify as Latino or Latina. And we've been recognized by Excellency in Education as an emerging HSI. So again, that's very promising. It's a challenge for us because do we have faculty and staff who reflect our very diverse student population? And the answer to that is no. But it also provides us with the opportunity, we know it's incumbent upon us as we grow in those directions, a lot of it planned, a lot of it unplanned. I found that a lot of things happen around here unplanned. And so as we look at the things that are happening, how can we get in front of that? How can we harness that? And how can we make that work for us? We had some students this fall who were in a class in CVAD who did this little piece that they posted on the web about Mr. President, we're not satisfied. And they talked, was that your students? The media art students. We thought that was a very powerful piece because just in a couple of minutes or so, they raised some of the key issues that we have these increasing numbers of students from underrepresented groups, but they aren't finding the role models on campus from faculty and staff that reflect those demographics. So great piece, and in fact, we're using one of the young men to do some video work for us. Yes, he was very good. They were all awesome students, and of course I met with them. It's like, is there an issue? They said, no. We did this as part of a class project. I'm like, oh, so we found out ways that we could harness their talent to work for us. So there are lots of opportunities here. I know there are lots of things that people talk about that are issues and have been long-standing issues. When I first got here, I got here in June, I think before the month was over, I was being called in to talk with the provost and the folks from institutional research about doing a faculty salary equity study. We had done those at my previous institution for over 30 years. We did them on a rotating basis of every 3 years, and the administration did put forth money to remedy the inequities that we found. So I was involved in that. Some of what I'm hearing, another challenge is that how that got communicated to the campus community wasn't always in a way that made people understand that there are issues as they relate to women when we compare their salaries to similarly situated male colleagues in their disciplines here at the university. There are continuing issues that we have related to compression, related to salary inversion, and those issues will be addressed. We are trying to set forth a path to do that fairly systematically. We know money has to be set aside to do that. Another thing I've been working on that was a challenge, but also an opportunity, the president charged me with drafting a standard operating procedure for target of opportunity hires so that everyone across the institution will be clear about what we mean by target of opportunity hires, in what circumstances in which we can use that kind of a hiring mechanism. We did it very successfully at my previous institution, and lots of institutions across the country do it. So hopefully you should see coming out, it won't just be shared with the deans, that it will be posted on a website so everyone can access it. Everybody's on the same page with the information, what that's about. And another opportunity that I found was, could we do something with postdocs? Right now, typically your postdocs come associated with grant funding. But there are successful models that can be an avenue toward faculty diversity by getting postdocs in all of your disciplines from all of the colleges to come and spend a couple of years here at UNT, allowing an academic department to kind of vet and view those folks. They would teach, they would do research, and hopefully it would be an ideal situation for someone who is within 5 years of completing their doctoral degree to help turn that doctoral research, those dissertations into publishable material, and to work with research groups and if they look promising, to be the conduit to move into some of our tenure track faculty positions. So I'm finished the first draft. I've got to get with Finley Graves and Tom McCoy on the details of how that might look, and then we'll hopefully roll that out. So there are lots of things, there are lots of challenges, but again, there are opportunities for us to do some of the things that we would like to do here. But I would encourage you, I've had an opportunity to meet with the Commission on the Status of Women. I've been to some of the faculty mentoring groups. If there are things that you think our office can do to assist you during your time here, please let me know. I did mention that we're going to be doing a series of climate studies. One of the things that we're going to be doing, since Shani's here, is going back and looking at the faculty climate study that was done relatively recently here to see if that information has been appropriately mined and conveyed to the campus community. Are there things that we need to follow up on from that information that we've gathered? We will be instituting a series of surveys that will survey our students as well as our staff employees. At NC State, we started out doing our own homegrown kind of faculty climate survey, and then we opted in to participate in the COACH survey, the Collaborative on Academic Careers in Higher Education run out of Harvard, which gave us nice comparative data with other institutions. And so I know that as a Tier 1 institution, we've reached that status, that we can do better. As it relates to the presence of women here in our faculty and ensuring that there is equitable treatment for all here at the University of North Texas. So I welcome the opportunity to speak with you. If you have the opportunity to drop by Hurley, I'm happy to come out to your building. I'm happy to come and meet with your academic departments. I had started making the rounds to meet with the deans and their department heads. And for those deans that had not invited me yet, I'm inviting myself. I've got my assistant scheduling the meetings to get out to try to meet everybody. And we've been partnering with, where's Mike McPherson back there? They're revising the faculty search handbook and process, and our group has had a chance to vet that and offer some suggestions. Because I think we can be a valuable resource in terms of looking at how we do faculty hiring, pushing the envelope where we can, making sure we stay on the appropriate side of the legal arguments to really make an impact as it relates to faculty diversity, faculty satisfaction, and faculty advancement and development here at the University of North Texas. Got to put in a shameless plug. Next Thursday at the Equity and Diversity Conference, our keynote speaker is Dr. Daryl Wing Su, professor from Columbia University, a psychologist by training who does work on microaggressions. The keynote speech starts at 9:45. It's in the University Union. If you would like to come, please contact our office and let us know. We just need to make sure there are enough seats for folks. And after that session at 11 o'clock, Dr. Su has agreed, we've asked him to stay for an hour more intimate session to talk with some faculty members on campus about microaggressions. So if you want to come to that session, we really need to know. It's going to be in the faculty, in the Senate chambers in the University Union, and seating there is limited. So again, we just need to know for a number count purposes that would be helpful. Also on March 8th, did I get the date right? 9th. There is another session following up with a continued discussion on microaggressions that will be held on campus, a panel discussion at 3:30, also in the University Union. Get the right place. In the Gateway, thank you. Thank you.
132. We'll send an announcement around, but at least you've heard.
Here in the Gateway on in March. So you will get additional information as a follow-up for that meeting about that. One of the things that Shani Moore is so good at, if you ever are in one of her training workshops, she does great work around cultural competence, cultural proficiency, but she does a piece that most folks don't deal with that's called cultural humility. How do you continue this work to improve yourself so that you're ready to meet the challenges of working in a very dynamic, multicultural world? So hopefully you'll get a chance to come to some of the workshops that Shani will be doing here with us. She'll be working with me on our climate survey activities and She was just telling me today, I met with the Commission on the Status of Women. Where's that faculty climate survey? I was like, got it, we'll get it to you. We'll sit down, we'll talk about that. So that is on the list to look at and to make sure requests that have come from groups like this to the administration do receive the timely response that they're due once we receive those. So thanks again for allowing me an opportunity to just say a few words to let you know I'm here. And I'm looking forward to the next 3 months or so. The year has gone by extremely fast. I'm just still amazed that it's almost 80 degrees and it's February. So I'm not complaining. Again, I've enjoyed my time in Texas, and I've enjoyed the hospitality extended to me by the faculty women on the campus, the various groups, and folks like my colleague Elizabeth Whip from Student Affairs. We do partner quite a bit on a lot of activities. So again, thanks so much for the time to speak with you.